Yeah, your professional YouTuber is back, doesn't know how to activate his microphone. Okay, very nice. Welcome everyone. How you doing? How you doing? This is one of two live streams today because I wanted to go live earlier today than usual because tonight at 6:30 p.m. we have Powell speaking and it's registered as news in my in the website here, right? 6:30 p.m. And it's a nice time to be live at around 6:30 p.m. then as well to start the live stream, see what it does to the chart, and be online for a little bit here as well in the evening, and then call it a day, no? So, yeah, first of two live streams today. Kiwi, the one of 6:30 p.m. hopefully is in the morning for you, so you can sleep in between. It's only like, what, 5 hours? You know, from now to 6:30. But what's up, everyone? Good to have you here. Welcome, Seriga. Good to have you. T. Clepson, Bubbity, how you doing? Would love to see that, the 6 digits. Kiwi, welcome. Solid Fab, yes, you have to write me an email, Solid Fab. That's koenztrading. And send me your UID and just mention the platform again. So just mention Blowfin again. But also send me your UID, which should be at the right top of your account or of your browser, or you click on your account and I'll get you sorted. T. Clepson, the always joker here. Thanks, Solid Fab. Ike, welcome. Tawangat, Kubs, JP, Sina. Wow, so many people here. French Toaster. I do like myself a nice toast. French Toaster. Are you actually from France as well? Bina, welcome. Anita, bonjour, bonsoir. Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? 24th of September. The Video Kingdom, welcome. Good to have you here. That is 24 septembre, I guess. Not complaining. No, we do 2 live streams today. Crypto Clodo, welcome. Crypto Circle. Yo, Mafia. Mafia, by the way, everyone, has a very unique style of analysis. And today he shared a post in Discord. 1 second here. Let me start with this. Discord. Okay, there we go. And that is this message here. So make sure to check it out, or just shortly stop the live stream. But it's a great bit of information. So very, very nice. And he uses rings, and that's, I think, a very unique style. Risk also uses rings, as you can see here. And yeah, so Liquid Mafia talking about the move towards the upside, talking about some of his rings, and that that price now is moving above these rings on the daily and the weekly, increasing the probabilities for upside based on his ring analysis. And if I open, wait, let me open the links here shortly. So it should open in my browser. That's number 1, and that's number 2. You can see here, on the weekly time frame, we're moving above that ring, and on the daily time frame, also above the ring. So he does say, you know, I'm waiting for a daily close, but positive, no? Positive. So yeah, that is going on from a ring perspective. Bill, welcome. George, greetings from Chalkidiki, Greece. Your videos made me hold on. Love your content. Cheers, George, and good job. Now, first of all, of course, no financial advice. You do you. I'm not responsible for your wins nor losses. Hopefully more wins, of course. Probably. But nonetheless, do not follow anything online. Talking about online, you know what I watched during my lunch just now? So just before being live, I had lunch, and talking about doing your own research and, you know, like that sort of stuff. My YouTube algorithm somehow got me into a video that is called, and I watched it during my lunch. 1 second here, I'm gonna find it for you. Scammer. Let's see if we can find him. Yeah, this one. You see, I watched it. It's all red here. So I watched it during lunch because I know the face of the guy, but I've never been involved in any of whatever he does. He smells very like that something, that something's happening there. You know what I mean? So I just you probably seen his face somewhere online. But Spencer Cornelia, I don't know how it happened. Like, I don't generally watch this stuff, but somehow it appeared in my timeline. And I watched the video. So talking about, and it also accounts for trading, right? You want to have your own trades, do your own research, make sure you know what you're doing. Actually, like, quite factually, you never know what happens online, right? In the world of the internet, I suppose. But that's actually quite an interesting video and really fucked up as well. Always makes me mad. Young, welcome. Optical illusion use rings all the time. Very unusual. It's like magic. It is like Liquid Mafia, magician from Australia. The financial advice you're giving is go all. No. We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We all, in the end, I mean, trading by itself is, of course, a very egoistic activity, actually, because in a way we're all in it for ourselves because we want to make money ourselves and profit ourselves. But we're a community, right? So we all aim for the same goal and help one another on YouTube, on Discord, everywhere else. Jay-Z, welcome. Good to have you here. Ali, how close are you two? Yeah, well, I'm lucky. I've never met him before, I suppose. Power Meat, welcome. What's up, Cheese? Oh, wait, can you see this? We are currently, so before I start with the analysis, it's just always a little bit of chatting and live update, I suppose. So currently I am packing everything out of my office because we are moving in 2 weeks to the south of France. So everything has to go out of the closets. Do you recognize that you never know how much shit you actually have till the moment you get a move, and then you open boxes and you're like, wow, did I have that stuff? You know what I mean? So I use my laptop webcam, and I'm not sure if you can actually see it. Yeah, well, you see one box there, right? And a thing, but basically that side of the room, I have like books and boxes and folders, and I somehow, I somehow got this. Oh, is it interesting? No, actually, I gotta say this is it was a present for my brother. He actually already got this present from me in South Africa, but then this smart guy, my younger brother, walked into the airport with this in his hand luggage. Now, guess what? He didn't get through security. So, cables and all the good stuff. And to wrap it up, do you guys remember the PSP? This is old school, right? Yeah, like a few days ago we spoke about gaming. You remember this? And inside of my little bag, I found this paper. And I am sure that if you are around 30 years old, you had the same, because what this paper represents, and just look at the color of this paper as well, you'll realize how old this is. What I'm showing you now is easy 15, maybe 20 years old. To all of you, this is a GTA cheat list for the PSP. I found a cheat list in my PSP cover for GTA. How about that? When I go on holiday with my parents, and we're in the back of the car as kids, you keep yourself busy, and I play GTA and stuff, and then I had cheat codes. So I could get money and cars and I don't know, all of that stuff. Yeah, good old times. What a time. Yeah, PSP OG. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna probably give it away, or I don't know. I don't play it anymore. I have my PC and stuff. But yeah, like my some of my friends got kids, and maybe the kids like to have a PSP or something, you know. So yeah, I might just give it to them. But yeah, like all of this stuff that that has been hidden for a long time comes back, right? Oh, how you doing, everyone? I haven't been on skiing holiday for a long time, gotta say, but I still got my gear. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's start. Pokemon cards. I did have a lot of Pokemon cards when I was still living with my parents back in the day. I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Flippos, Pokemon cards, and Knuckle Bones as well. And I had shoe boxes full. But when I eventually moved out and I didn't take that stuff with me, my mom threw everything away. And that was the end of my very rich Pokemon card career. Yeah, this is the early. I'm an early adopter with the Apple Vision. I already had the. This is also old, but it's still really good. I used to have a snowboard and stuff as well, but I already sold my board a very long time ago because I knew I wasn't going on winter like holiday, and I was moving places, and the board is quite big, and it's just it's not easy to bring along all the time. But now that we moved to the south of France, the mountains and the Alps are nearby as well. So just with a few hours, I'm in the mountain. So I always kept my shoes, I kept my helmet, and I kept my my snowboarding, my glasses. Yeah. Let me do this. Okay, there we go. Moving some stuff around. By the way, I always have to do this at the beginning of a live stream. In my opinion, this is 0.0 alcohol free, right? Just so you know. No alcohol here on the stream. So people are aware. Okay, so what we're going to do in the live stream is analyze the chart and observe the local price section. As mentioned in the morning update, as price has been moving to the upside into resistance, the weekly naked point of control, the most interesting thing is to observe a range, right? We expected a range to form sooner or later. We're at resistance, so it's an attractive area to start a bit of a range, and then the range will give us clues. So what I will do is we go through the chart, then I'm going to talk about why I took the long that I took. It's already closed, by the way, so I'm out of that position at the weekly naked point of control. TP1 was the daily naked point of control, and TP2, which was exit, was the weekly naked point of control. And I will explain why I entered that position. So hopefully it may help some of you on, I don't know. Everyone has a different style of trading, but maybe it helps you in a way or another. And I will also talk local in a 50-minute time frame, what I am looking for right now. Because, of course, I'm not in a position. I'm interested. But I'm just being very, very patient with the charts. I don't need very big swings and all that stuff. I just look for a few trades or a few percent or R each time, and that works for me. So you can wear your snowboarding gear at home and pretend you're in the Alps. Yeah, I know, but I don't have snow here. Do you always do your analysis on log scale? No, only when I go to the weekly time frame, I go to log, or if you go in a daily time frame and you analyze like still this whole portion. So it's about percentages. You can see that from the low, price has moved 350%. So you want to use log to correct, because 1% at 15K is different than 1% at 60K, right? But if you do analysis on the daily only of this range here, the difference is not big, right? We're talking 70K and 60K. So you can use a linear. But generally recommended when you do analysis on the weekly, go to log. When you do the daily, it depends. That's like the medium time frame, and below the daily, you'll probably use linear. Yeah, you have a white PSP. Nice. Do you still use it? Scammer in the Elliott Wave chat. Yo. Wait. Tell me one of you must have had the SP. Come on. Who had the SP? I had the color and I had the SP. Started with the color. I had a purple Game Boy Color. I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, all the good stuff. Okay, we're going to start with the analysis. It's going to be a short repeat on the weekly, and then we zoom into the lower time frames. There's not much new information because nothing really happened, right? I mean, the morning update was here while we were at resistance looking for a range to form, and now that price is moving down, we start to build a bit of a range, no? So it's for America. America is waking up now. It's very early in America. Press 1 if you are from America. Let us know. Must be early. And yeah, we're gonna do the analysis. So on the weekly time frame, there's 3 scenarios. They all lead to upside. Sorry. And you have seen these already in previous videos, right? So I don't actually really want to go in depth, but in a nutshell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That is scenario number 1. You're going to take this high, and then we look for a bigger sideways range to form as we finish the yellow 3, look for 4 and 1 more move in 5. So in other words, 2 more pushes towards the upside, invalidation 49.3. Second bullish scenario, 1 more push to the upside, take the all-time high. Common target for 4 is hit also in this scenario. And then we look for price to move up. 618 is 37.7. And your most bullish scenario is a double 1-2. 1-2, 1-2 continuation up. And I don't want to go yeah, so I don't really want to go in too much detail. If you have questions, then ask me, because I have covered these weekly scenarios quite a lot of times in the past couple of days. So I guess most of you will probably know why this scenario is a scenario we have to keep in mind. That is because of the rule of alternation and the wave 4 guideline. You can see both of the corrective structures are quite sideways, even though this is a flat and this is a zigzag, which is an alternation in structure. You can see that still the structure itself is relatively sideways. It's not a deep, scary, quick structure for potential 4 if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to consider a potential 1, 2, and also if we look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, preferably your wave 4 moves to the wave 4 of a lower degree, this range here, which we haven't done. That is the wave 4 guideline. So therefore we have to be aware, but by all means the probabilities on the weekly are higher to still take the highs. And after price, sooner or later, you know, if price takes the highs, we just have to observe what we get. Because if we get a very high amount of volume and impulsive structures and big candles to the upside, we look for higher, right? Wave 3. If we move towards the upside on a lower volume, right, and then start ranging here for a longer amount of time, then we look for a wave 5 that is finished, right? And we're going to observe the range. So it really depends on the structure that you then get as price moves to the upside. Trading price discovery is generally very, very easy. So when you go into discovery, it's all about the next range, right? Or a bull flag for some of you that are familiar with the more traditional pronunciation or you know, words, I suppose. So we have to wait, we go up, and only when price is gonna form ranges that are similar in size as these two will we start to label it as potential 4s or maybe even a 5 ending. So as long as price is moving up without longer sideways ranges, we simply look for price to move up. There's no reason to then think differently. On the daily time frame, you're in both cases actually 2 bullish scenarios. A zigzag here, 535. Common target for C is the 1 to the 1.236 has been touched, as you can see. Price moving above 63.8k would be a positive for the bulls, because there's always the potential of somehow this price action, of course, to still be part of a wave 4, right? On the 1 hour time frame, the ABC or the WXY, which I've shown, I think, yesterday. But now that price is pushing, it's much more interesting to observe the 50-minute and not the 1 hour anymore. So yeah, this is scenario 1. Now, the interesting thing with the ABC, your wave C could be in, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. Alternatively, you move down once more, but you don't want to see price move too high in this case. So we then have ABC. And if we start to really move up above the previous lower degree wave 4, it lowers the probabilities for this to be 4. And then the probabilities are higher for C to be in. Now, mind you, that if we continue towards the upside, your bearish scenario is going to switch to a bigger WXY or a flat ABC, right? That's going to be your bearish scenario. Your bullish scenario is going to be an impulse to the upside. Now, an impulse to the upside means 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, potentially creating another lower high, which is something that I actually would like to see. Then drop once more, make people scared, not take out the low, finish your wave 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and off to the races, right? Preferably, something like this happens where you create high, lower high, lower high, and it just demotivates people, right? Oh, we make another lower high. And most commonly in a wave 2, you expect a zigzag, right? So if you do get an impulse up, we're not yet finished, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, we still need 4, 5, 4, 5 in this case. If we do see an impulse up and we get a correction, most commonly in a wave 2, we look for a zigzag structure. And a zigzag is a 5, 3, 5 structure where wave C can end on a high amount of volume. The interesting thing is that if we get a zigzag is a 5, 3, 5 structure, which looks like an impulse, but it never finishes with a 4 and a 5. It's a 3-wave structure, not a 5-wave structure. But because it mimics an impulse, at least here, 1, 2, 3, or ABC, having a move towards the upside and having a zigzag correction down can make people think of a continuation to the downside impulsively. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Oh, we have another 5-wave down, 3-wave up, 5-wave down on high volume. Well, whatever, you know, trend is down, lower high, lower low, lower high. And then you find support and you move towards the upside. So with regards to the daily time frame, if we can move above this high and move towards the upside, that is going to be something I'm going to be looking for, the wave 1, the wave 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, look for 3, and then eventually 4, 5, 4, 5. Preferably create a lower high. That would be nice from a psychology point of view, because it is too easy, in my opinion, if price just does this. Like, you're gonna have people already probably today, they see this move up and they're gonna like buy and buy and buy and buy and buy and buy, and everyone is in profit and everyone is happy. It just feels too obvious. So I would like to see fear, as I generally love to see that emotion in the market. Counting the 1 hour time frame locally doesn't really make too much sense at the moment, because it's all about the local range. So let's zoom in a second. Yeah. Yes, I don't want to cover that one. So we go to the 1 hour first. So we have a solid move towards the upside. I will shortly cover it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sometimes you get that, like, you know, it just comes, you know what I mean? Oh, thanks, Tibetan Monk. I forgot the time when I started with my analysis. That's a good point. But yeah, well, I'll make sure to find the timestamp. So on the 1 hour time frame, price currently is moving to the upside, right here, on locally at least increasing volume. You can see the volume is nothing crazy yet on the 1 hour time frame. You can see we had some higher spikes here as well, but in the local trend towards the upside, we can see the volume is moving up as well. No? Your bullish scenario is, of course, a multi 1-2. I don't like the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. I would then actually just prefer a double 1-2, or maximum a triple 1, right? So 1-2, 1-2, then you have a lower time frame 1-2, and eventually you move, right? So in other words, impulsive continuation, 1 2 1 2, you want to see a wave 3, which therefore also means you want this to continue, right? Price moving up, preferably on an increasing amount of volume for your wave 3. Eventually, you're going to be looking for a range in 4, another move in 5, high on a lower amount of volume. And because we then count at least a double 1 2 in this case, 1 2 1 2, we also want to see a 4 5 4 5, right? So we are then looking for 2 more ranges and 2 more pushes to the upside. So once we start a bigger sideways structure in the bullish scenario, mimicking your wave 2 here, right? That is when we know, okay, we're going to look for another push up sideways and another push up. Mind you, this is a zigzag down. This is a flat on most of the charts, because on most charts this high, which was news related, took the high on the left. So a flat ABC is a likely option, right? And therefore, because this is a flat, your first wave 4 in the bullish scenario, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, the first wave 4 does have a higher probability of being sharp and a zigzag. So it might be scary, right? A sharp 5 3 5. Because the first wave 2 is a zigzag, your second wave 4, meaning 1 2 1 2 3, sharp structure down in the first wave 4. Another 5 up, and because your 2 here is a zigzag, your wave 4 matching this 2. Wait, I do everything without having stuff on the chart, so let me, I guess, makes it easy to just put everything on. Make it art. There we go. 1 2 3 4 5 up. Right, so then you have this, and then you have that, and then you have that. So 2 in blue, flat, 4, potential for a zigzag, a sharper corrective structure. Now your wave 2, by the way, did hit the 0.5, taken from this low to the high, which is a common target for a wave 2, as you can see here, right? Common target for a wave 2. So it is deep enough, but the structure is a flat, increasing probabilities for 4 to be a zigzag, for example, right? Now wave 4 can be any corrective structure, triangle, WXY, zigzags, flats. It's just, we got to be aware of the potential of a zigzag. And because your first 2 here is a zigzag structure, the probabilities increase for your second wave 4 here to be a sideways structure. So more complex, more sideways, flat, triangle, WXY, right? One of these 3. Okay? So that's the bullish scenario. Now, of course, in this case, we want to see price continue its way towards the upside. Right? We're not high enough yet. I think, where is it? We are at least reaching some levels. Now, let me remove all of these 1 2s. I prefer to just have 2 1 2s on the chart, so I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Right. So yeah, preferably, right, we see continuation to the upside, because so far price has not created a sideways range the same size, similar to what we have seen over here, and that is something that we're looking for. So we want the time of the range to align with one of the 2, at least minimum, of these, right? And at the moment, every range, right, is very short so far. Now we're still working on this one, but yeah. So that's your bullish scenario, right? And your bearish scenario is A, B, C, W, X, Y, right? So this move up is your C or Y. I think I have it somewhere. Oh, this one, of course, doesn't work anymore. Okay, there we go. Because you always need a bearish scenario. Now, what was it? I think last night, was it last night? I think, yeah, price was here. So I was looking for price to move up locally, but I wasn't confident. When you look at this structure, right, it did not feel like, wow, this is so impulsive. You know, like up, down, and range, and range, and range, and range, and range. But that's why at the end of the video, I mentioned locally 15 minutes, probabilities are higher to move up to the daily naked point of control. However, I am very aware of the potential of continuation because of the multi 1-2s supported by all of the bullish CVD divergences. So what I'm looking for, and I pretty much gave it on a piece of paper, what I'm looking for is weakness. Now, this is where I took my long, and as mentioned, I will explain why I took the long here, which I, by the way, exited there. But we developed this range with bullish CVD divergences. There was no weakness whatsoever. A three-wave structure down, higher low on price, lower low on the CVD. You can see it here as well, the green line. Bullish CVD divergence. Right? There's no weakness, there's no rejection, there's no market structure change. There was nothing. Nothing to look for any sort of a short position, right? So in other words, bullish CVD, probability is higher to continue. Looking for the weekly naked point of control. And yeah, so that is where we are now. Now let me quickly check, because if this is a wave C, we of course start to be very extended now. Okay, that's one. This one is still possible. Yeah. So in other words, you then need to have a, because of the impulsivity here, we're preferably thinking about a zigzag. A little bit of live thinking and live analysis. A short B. Now, what does impact the probabilities for this is now your B is very short in time. Can happen, but your B is shorter than the 382 fib time of A, right, which is here. But we are now in the common target area for your C for a diagonal A, B impulsive is C to the upside. Even in the bearish scenario, preferably we actually still take this high once more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Yeah, preferably you would still take out this high, but we are in the common target area for your C, so something to be aware of. And that's why this morning I mentioned I just want to wait for a range to form. As long as price is pushing on volume, right, it's interesting to look for upside, but we are at resistance, weekly naked point of control. Now the previous video was uploaded, at like 7 a.m., which was here when we were hitting resistance. And pretty much at the end of the video, towards the probabilities, of course, the weekly and the daily and stuff is easy, but locally, 50-minute time frame, price is pushing up on a higher amount of volume, right, increased volume. So the best thing one can do is to wait for a range to form. And then the range will give us all of the information that we need with regards to the probabilities. Now there's two little areas of support. First of all, we have an hourly gap here, which we have touched. You can see that we got a bit of a reaction. And second, on the 3-minute time frame, we have over here also a 3-minute gap. Right? The 3-minute gap is between 61.7 and 62. And on the 1 hour, you have 62.3 to 61.8. I don't generally like to go to very low time frames like the 3-minute time frame, but this first structure to the downside looks like a bit of a three-wavy structure. I don't really like to go this low because of the reliability, but you can see the range in the middle, and it looks three-wavy. It's not easy to analyze 1 3-minute, but it definitely has a three-wavy feel to it. Of course, a three-wavy feel to the downside from a high would signal corrective structures, right? So if this becomes a three-waver, by the looks of it, the probabilities generally are higher to continue up. Now, what I am looking for locally, so this is what's going to be important for myself. So what I am looking for locally is price to move towards the upside, preferably 50-minute time frame, create some more waves, see some more local bullish CVDs as well. And of course, we want to flip support resistance. In this case, resistance, flip it into support, preferably supported with some bullish CVD or whatever tool you're looking for, RSI, MACD, no? For bearish scenarios, I want to see this continue structure to the downside, and eventually I like to see bearish CVD divergences as price is falling. Now, if you want a great example of what I mean, then go to this structure to the downside here, started on the 1st of July, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, because every range here was bearish CVD, bearish CVD, bearish CVD, bearish CVD. So you can have a look at this range, analyze this structure down in combination with the CVD, and you know exactly what I would be looking for if I want to turn bearish. At the moment, we're just looking at a range to form, and yeah, arguably a bit of a three-wave move down here, which would support the bulls. But I've just explained what I am looking for. Yeah, because of the move up, generally one would, from an Elliott wave point of view, then say, hey, we have a high volume move, or at least volume is increasing as price is moving to the upside. This increases the probabilities that this recent move to the upside is a wave 3. Increasing the probabilities, you're looking for a 4 and a 5. So because of the volume and the move up here, the probabilities would be higher to look for at least one more high to take out this high here. And what I want to see is local signs of strength. Once I see local signs of strength, I'm interested again to participate. Now, the reason that I took my long to finally close the analysis, so I took a long here. And I took it a little bit higher because I was not in front. I was watching Netflix. So pop. I was watching Dexter. It's a fun show. Pop. Right. So this is the trade that I took, and I will explain why. So this was taken quite late. I took it in this red candle, so 11:15. And the final video was already posted online where I said the probabilities are higher to move to the upside to reach the daily naked point of control. So I was looking from an Elliott wave point of view for an entry long. I wanted to find an entry. And what then happened is my ass was not in front of the screen because I, as mentioned, was watching Netflix, Dexter, season 3. Episode, I don't know, 4 or something weird. And we finished the series. I checked my phone, and then this is what I saw. We touched the 886, moved down to the golden pocket, and I was like, yo, that's what we always talk about, right? It is quite common for price to hit the 886, move to the golden pocket, see if it acts as support, and then continue. So that was the moment where I was like, oh, yo, I wanna be part of this. Now, what I also missed is that we had bullish CVDs here, because literally this section of the chart was my chill with the wifey section of the chart. Because down here, we had bullish CVD, higher low in price, lower low on yellow, a bullish CVD, literally with this one candle, right? And then we moved up, hit the 886, came down again, red candle on top of the golden pocket. That was my entry. Right, stop loss, of course, below the lows here because of the bullish CVDs as well. And my first target, TP1, was the daily naked point of control. Right, I do like to have set targets. So the moment we hit the daily naked point of control, I manually TP'd here. I took 50% out of my trade. Also because because of how quick I acted, I didn't actually calculate my position. So it was a little bit too big, but that's why I like to take 50% off as well. Second, because it was a little bit bigger than I initially maybe wanted, the moment we took this high, I already immediately put my stop loss into profit because I didn't want price to wick the highs and then come down again. So I saved myself just in case, and it was in profit, so that was cool. But we continued up. That was my other alternative, just continue to the upside. Daily naked point of control, 50% taken off. Went to the bed, right? Peaceful to bed, profit in the bag. There you go. Next morning, I wake up and we're here. Now we hit the weekly naked point of control. That was my target. And this morning I therefore closed my trade and I'm happy. Yeah. So I just look for a new entry. I don't need the potential really, really big swings. I just want to take a little bit every time. So of course there's the potential for continuation, but I can always re-enter if I see what I want to see now. So currently price is ranging, right? We're moving sideways. There's not much happening on the chart. Little bit of 5-min bullish CVDs here on yellow, but the target is this high. So I preferably want to see some action on the 15-minute time frame. And we'll see. This is clearly now a support resistance area. Resistance, support, resistance, right? So one line on the chart deciding the fate of today. We do have some news today, 6:30 p.m. We're going to be live at that time as well. So let's see. All right. Okay, when did we start? Let me go to the message from Tibetan Monk. Thank you, Mr. Monk. Timestamp 1:58. That is 25 minutes ago, and in the live stream 25 minutes 42:22. So that must be around, let's say 23, just to make sure if people go to 23 they end up inside the analysis. Well, up, go down, pin, message pinned. Very nice. Okay, time for some chatting and a Q&A. I just saw the message. I will. But I will have a look first here. Sibel, welcome. Vegas Nick from Ikaria, Greece. Nick, are you on holiday in Greece now? I thought you lived in America, or am I like completely clueless now? Wave 2 and 4 in terms of structure. It's the rule of alternation. So if you have an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Most commonly, wave 2 is short, deep, right? So a lower fib level, the 0.5 golden pocket 786, and simple, a zigzag, right? For example. And if wave 2 is simple, short, and short in time, by the way, and deep, wave 4 has a higher probability of being shallow, complex, and long in time. So it's alternation between the wave. If 2 is deep, 4 has a higher probability of being sideways. If 2 is sideways, 4 has a higher probability of being deep. It is not a must. It's called a rule of alternation, but actually quite interesting. It's not like it has to be that way. It's just that an expectation. It's actually more like a guideline, because based on the statistics of Rich Swannell, shared in Discord in the Elliott Wave community channel, if you go down the educational part, you will see that a wave 2 and a wave 4 still have quite a high probability. If wave 2 is sideways, wave 4 still has quite some, like 50% probability or something of being sideways as well. So it's definitely not a must. You know what it is, T. Clepson, with these type of structures? It's difficult to say when a wave 3 is in until it is in. Because not like, so I never really like to be too bullish. But in the bulls, of course, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't forget, everything here can also be 1, 2s, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the reason I say it That of course would be most insane, but the reason I mentioned that is because of this. Remember here, 1 2 1 2, this all was still 1 2 1 2 1 2. Look how steep we went up here, right? But all of this was still 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then you got to push up, and that's your 3, and then you moved out of this range here. So quite simply, your 3 isn't over till it's over. In my opinion, I only look for a wave 3 to end when I have a wave 4 that is the size of 2. As long as we do not have a wave 4 the size of 2, I look for up, right? In an impulsive scenario. So no, the bullish CVD here played out, by the way. So yeah. The CME gap, I'm never really focused on CME gaps. However, the scenario I mentioned earlier, or the brainstorm I mentioned earlier, could fill your CME gap. I don't know where the gap is. It's of course during the weekend, so it's somewhere here till, that's quite a big gap, no? So probably somewhere here is your gap, right? Now, as mentioned earlier, looking at an impulse to the upside, ideally, we're going to create a lower high, right? So you have the trend line traders, they do this, right? And preferably, we have 1 2 1 2, whatever, 1 2s, and then 3, and then 4 5 4 5. Hit the trend line, but create a lower high, ideally. That would be nice. And then eventually move towards the downside correctively. Wave 2 is most commonly, so if we label this a 1, wave 2 is most commonly a deep corrective structure. Now if we then take a fib from the low to wherever, let's have a look here, wave 2, move this to the right, remove this squiggly line, and let's see, we move it up. So we want pretty much this area is your gap. So let's have a look. Put this on style, no, trend line. So if price would move all the way up to pretty much 70K, the CME gap is in confluence with the golden pocket. So you can go a lot higher and still see the CME gap maybe not filled completely, but you can, because the 786 is still a target for a wave 2, right? But as you can see in an impulse, you can move significantly up and still have a wave 2 retracement to fill the gap at a later stage and then move back up again, right? So yeah, CME gaps are interesting, but I don't use them in my analysis. I do know that many get filled, but be aware that, you know, it's probability. So what you probably want to do with CME gaps is build statistics on when are they filled. Are they filled in less than 1 day, in less than 2 days, in less than 3 days, in less than a week? Because it will get you a bit of an idea of what is most common, instead of just saying, oh, we have a gap, we have to fill it. Because of course there are also significant gaps on the chart that have never been filled and likely never will be. So be aware. But you can see that even if you continue to the upside here, there's absolutely still potential to move down and fill that gap, right? So to come down back again towards that 60K area. Now to the upside, we do have some resistance, by the way, completely forgot to talk about it. Blue box 64.1, 65.1, blue box 66.6, 67.1, then we have 69.1, 69.6, and eventually 70, 70.8, 71K. If I open all of my levels, then this is all of the stuff that I have hidden most of the time, right? Voila. We now also moved above the daily support resistance area, by the way. Let's see if we mimic 56k, yes or no. Depends when we're going to push the break. So the next very simplistic support resistance area here is 64.5, 65.2. We have now moved above this support resistance area. And the CME gap is also in confluence with this one. Right? There's always the potential to retest it. Volume profile. Okay, we're also now attempting to move back inside the volume profile as well. Point of control 66.8. So. Oh. Mark, goedemiddag, goedemiddag, goedemiddag. Jouke, welkom. Andrew. Season 6. Oh, you're ahead of us. Yeah, but it's a great series, eh? Yugi, I say it because it's now hindsight, right? The people in the setups channel get things up front. But after things have already played out, I can as well just share. It doesn't matter, right? In the setups channel, I write in before prices at certain levels or does certain things. I explain why it is interesting and how it works, right? That is your benefit. But of course, that is so. The first link in the description, right, down below. So. All 8 seasons. Wow. I don't think it encourages the question. It's about the reason why, and it's educational. If people can learn from it, then that's good, right? That's the goal. So, yeah, there you go. Hopefully people learn something by like myself explaining how. No, the end goal, my friend, is education. I don't think that's too difficult to understand. I don't provide any signals anyway in any membership, so there's nothing to sell. I don't provide any signals in any of the stuff. Silver is short-term updates. Gold is about shortening the learning curve of Elliott waves, and diamond is about making a plan. None of these list signals because I don't do signals. So there's no paid whatever. There's no reason to be confused. It's called education, right? If you go to school, you pay for education. Here you get free education by someone that is consistently profitable, explaining why he took the trade. So hopefully people learn something and can take it with them, right? If I wanted people to pay, I'll just add another membership and be like Signals or whatever. You either take it or you don't take it. B channel, welcome. How you doing? Good to have you here once again. Welcome, man. Member for 6 months. You got a new badge. You upgraded now from the yellow badge to the green badge. I'm doing good, good time, busy time, and yeah, it's everything is it's just moving forward, I suppose. So looking forward to eventually get settled in France. Yo, Yugi, look, it's very simple. I don't talk about the money I made. I don't talk about the position size I made, right? I'm not talking about any money. I talk about why I entered the trade. Now, if you do not understand why that is educational, why I took the trade, why the probabilities were higher for up, why I looked at CVD, why the 886 probabilities came in, then get out, right? It's easy. If you don't get it, then go somewhere else. It's literally educational. I explained probabilities from Elliott waves were up. We touched the 886 and retraced to the golden pocket, and we had bullish CVDs. Now, hopefully someone learns that by having these type of things on a chart increases probabilities for a move up and take a trade. It's educational. If I want to explain this behind a paywall, right, I would already have that set up. I give this information for free because hopefully it helps people. Now, if you don't understand this because you're used to the Moon Boys, right, and their paywalls and their systems and their millions on a live stream, right, that they always show, because I don't, because it's private. Of course they show their millions. You know why? Because they want you to buy into that shit. No? So if you're used to that type of bullshit, then go there. You know, I really don't care. So either you get it's free and educational or you don't, right? But stop asking these questions. Like, really can't be bothered with this bullshit. So there you go. One more of those comments, and you're out. You know, I'm not. I'm done. I'm not spending time on people like you. I actually do know. But yeah. Could you please check the weekly? I will in a second in Discord. Will you share your new CVD template? Currently thinking, like, I'm now testing it. It's something I'm thinking about. So, but I first wanna test it. And you should not follow blindly because you are your own trader. I have other reasons to enter than someone else. My low time frame analysis to the upside on the 50-minute time frame was accurate. The 1 hour was explained based on looking for weakness, and if we don't see weakness, we look for up, and we haven't seen weakness. So there you go. Yes, got a new CVD code. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so we back at where we were with regards to the chat. So very, very nice. We catched up with the chat. Now, of course, we do go live at 6:30 p.m. Central European time, so in a couple of hours. So I don't want to make this too long because, of course, in 4 hours, actually a little bit less, in 3 hours and 50 minutes, we're going to be live again. And the reason we are going to be live is because of this. Should be quite entertaining. See if anything happens when he's going to speak at 6:30. So it won't be too long of a live stream, FYI, okay? Only live streams I watch. Join us in Sri Lanka. Now that's a unique name as well. Welcome from the Netherlands. I do see my statistics in YouTube. I don't often go there, but I had a look at the statistics because I am looking to eventually get a website. So I'm talking to a marketing company as well. And one of the things they asked for is, like, what's the audience like? And I was like, well, these people, or so many, watch videos only, live stream only. Most of the people do both. But there's definitely a few that only watch the live streams. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes my patience is limited. Like, I don't mind explaining it once, but if I then get a question again and a question, I'm like, you either get it or you don't. I really don't care, but the next one is going to be out, Hi, so we did touch the 886 on the all-time high, so probably, yes, correct, Daniel. Yes. So when you start a range, 1 second. Okay? So when you start a range, so we moved up, right? And we moved up towards the all-time high. And got the diagonal down, retraced back to the 886 and came down, right? Now, the moment you hit the 886, a little bit lower, the probabilities are immediately higher to sooner or later take out the all-time high. The reason is that the 886 has a higher probability of being a wave B or X, right? If you touch it. In other words, this high has a higher probability of being a wave B or X if price does move down. Because the move down has a higher probability now of being a wave C or Y. And the reason is that the 886 is a rare target for a wave 2. So the moment an 886 is hit, and we're talking about the 886 taken from a fresh new high or a fresh low, right? The moment you hit that 886, the probabilities increase to sooner or later take out the high. So that is why the moment we touched it, the probabilities were higher to look up on a weekly time frame. Also, with the diagonal in wave A on the daily time frame from the all-time high down, we also had an 886 touch there as well. Yeah. So the 886 is a very good like little nugget to keep in mind from an Elliott wave point of view. So how do you identify strength while in a range? Looking at the structures and looking at CVD and support resistance. So of course we now have a very clear support resistance area, the weekly naked point of control. I always keep an eye on CVD, and I also keep an eye on Elliott waves. Now if we do this, is there the potential here for a flat? We didn't touch the 1.618, so there's always potential for a flat, meaning A, B, C, and then continue the range again. That would be your bearish scenario, of course. But I observe the structure. So if you are bullish, you want to see three-wave corrective structures down. So zigzags, flats, triangles, WXYs. The CVD gives a good indication of where price wants to go. Now we did hit the 1 hour gap now as well. So we hit some support. All right, 1 hour gap top. This is your gap. So we touched the gap, always important in trending environments. And now it's just patience. See if we get anything. CVD on the 15-minute is very neutral. So yeah, wave 2 should be interesting indeed. Say something you can improve in your trading and psychology problems. That book will, I think, significantly help you. Again, I don't know the guy, right? I don't know Jared, but this book helped me a lot. And if I have to tell you something, then I recommend to keep a journal where you write down your emotions when trading. So in the journal that I keep for myself, I have a column, and in that column I have a psychology column and I have a notes column. And in the psychology column I write stuff like, one second, let me open. So I have it here. So I write stuff there like, let me see the options that I have in my psychology column. Psychology: good, FOMO, lacking confidence, overconfidence, fear of losing, greed, revenge trade, discipline. Of course, if it's good, it was a good setup. And then I have all the other options. And then I also have a notes section where I write down more in detail what happened during the trade and what I saw and why I exited and that sort of stuff. So keep a journal, because you can look back. Make sure to post links of your trading view window as well. So when you do have a setup on the chart, just go to the corner on the camera and click on copy link, and then put the link in the Excel sheet as well. Second, if you want to work on your psychology, yeah, this is stuff that you will read in more detail in the book, but there's a few steps you actually want to take. First of all, identify what goes wrong. So if you have an issue with psychology, when do you have that issue? Is it when you are in a losing position, in a profitable position, in no position? Is it FOMO? Is it greed? Is it overconfident? Is it fear of losing? Is it, discipline? And once you identify what it is in your case, then the moment you feel you're gonna go back into FOMO or become greedy, focus on what leads you to the mistake. So your mistake is, I close too early, right? So I'm in profit, but I don't let it run to TP. I'm manually closing too early and there's no reason, right? So in other words, you're scared. Why? First of all, you have to identify it. And then the second question is, before you make the decision to close early and click the button on the mouse and get out of the trade, what are the small signals before you press the button? So in other words, you go behind your PC and maybe the moment you look at the chart, right, you feel a moment of doubt. The moment you start looking at your Excel sheet and your plan, right, because you have a plan, you start checking your plan again, you start doubting. Like, those are like small little signs of the eventual mistake you make. So you want to identify what leads to your mistake, and those are like usually around like 10 small little things. Revenge trading, for example. People that revenge trade eventually, of course, first of all, they lose, and then they get the urge of getting back inside the trade, like back inside the chart. So they might move back into a position, and they go into lower time frames eventually. They're going to up the leverage because they're losing. They want to make it back quick. They don't want to wait for price to move too much, right? So those are like signals that happen, and then, I've been revenge trading, right? So you want to identify some of the psychological or structural reasons that lead to that mistake. So yeah, but it's a lot better in the book. I have difficulty to really explain it as clearly as the author does, but pretty much he calls it map your pattern and find the root of your problem. And finding the root of the problem means that the last thing of your problem is, what shall we do? The fear of losing. So it didn't hit your stop loss, but it does move to your stop loss. So fear of losing, right? And you close too early, but that's the closing too early. That's the final step in the process, right? The root of your problem happened like 10 minutes or 20 minutes before, or maybe an hour before, because the root of the problem is not trusting the setup, or you get that urge or feeling. You're gonna look back at your plan. You're gonna recalculate your position. You're gonna start thinking about a new entry. Those type of things. Or if I close here, maybe I can then go there. And those are like signals of a mistake is coming, and you want to be quick enough to identify it and then stop it from happening, I suppose. I work in digital marketing of one of the large yacht manufacturing companies. One of the largest yacht manufacturing companies in Europe. That's insane, Peter. I mean, the more brains, why not? I do have, I'm not sure if you know them, Happy Horizon in the Netherlands. They're a big agency in the Netherlands. and I happen to have two friends from my in history in esports and gaming. Two friends that work there in high positions, and because I know them, I contacted them, and I also contacted Thijs. He is a member of the channel, and he's also in Discord, because they both have, they both run agencies. So what the goal is to eventually work on a website. So I've already had two meetings, and I will have an offline meeting soon. So of course I'm not sure how much we could do together, but I'm always interested to have a chat. What's up, Hunter? Cheers, Yanis. Can order Lambo now? I don't know. How much upside do you need for you to order? Cheers, Daniel. Pleasure. Inverted head and shoulders, forming shoulder, head, shoulder. Yeah, there's always the potential for a head and shoulders locally, but a bit early because you only have this move down, so you would still need to find support here and start to move back up to break the neckline. It's a very small head and shoulders. Right? Head and shoulders generally are reversal patterns. I don't really like to look at it in the middle of like a range. Generally, you look for wave 4, wave 5, and then a wave A, B, C to the downside, right? So it's an ending structure most of the time. So you have move up. This is your shoulder, your head, your shoulder, and then you can label this 3, 4, 5, and then you have A, B, right, C, fake out neckline, go back up, right? So it's an ending structure, end of a 5. You can have this as a wave A, B, C, and then start a new impulse down, 1, 2, 3, right? So then you continue to the downside. Flat A, B, and then you actually want a wave C. Arguably a flat might be in here if you label this is your 5, and then you have an A, you get a fake B, and then you get your C to the downside. But your wave C should not have such a big range in the middle. But you get the point, right? It's generally turnaround structures. But yeah, there's definitely the possibility, of course, chuck, 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 and then break the neckline. And then, of course, the measurement of the neckline to the top is going to be your target. Do you ever use the dollar and bonds for confluence? No. I always focus on Bitcoin. First of all, Elliott waves does take a lot of time. So generally on other charts like altcoins, I only stick around on the weekly time frame. Bitcoin is the only chart where I go into the lower time frames, really. But I only analyze other charts because of people asking during, and that's why we have the altcoin streams. And dollar and bonds, I don't analyze unless, again, during an alt stream or something people ask there. But I don't use any other chart for my trading confluence with Bitcoin. Yeah. Paul. What has been the single biggest change you've made that has led to your success in trading? Psychology. Easy. Psychology. I improved my psychology. My psychology was my biggest weakness back in the day, and nowadays it's still my biggest weakness because I think it's difficult to really. I know my technicals are my strong point. I'm very analytical. It's the psychology that's the difficult. So it's still my weakness, but because I have trained my psychology for so long now, I don't often have psychological mistakes anymore. But usually when I make a mistake, it's not technical, it's psychological. So the biggest change for me that led to success is back in the day, I had the technical knowledge, or at least I started to get the hang of making a plan and started to develop a strategy. But it was the psychology that was a problem. And I really think if you develop a plan or strategy, or you get into trading, learn the technicals and the psychology at the same time. That is the biggest tip. Don't underestimate the psychology of this industry. Yeah. So it's the psychology. That's the biggest change. The biggest win is the psychology for me. Because once the psychology becomes better, you're making less mistakes, which means you earn more, right? Even though the plans are the same, you don't revenge trade, or you don't FOMO, or you don't close early, or you're not greedy, you know. So yeah, that's what helps. A web developer, Tortuga. Oh, there's many web developers and everyone here. Just feel free to write me a DM. So of course I'm already talking with a company and friends that I have in there. So Happy Horizon, feel free to check them out online. That's the company. And then Vortex Agency is gonna do some stuff probably as well. But we still have meetings. But yeah, you know, always happy to see what's out there. But of course the chances are high I'll be working with them, at least for the short term with the website. But yeah, happy to chat to people about it. Abdul, welcome back. Hopefully you and the missus are well. We good. Yeah. We happy? We good? Everything going smooth? So all good. Abdul, where have you been? Welcome back. Yeah. It starts to happen now, where people were gone for a big part of the range of Bitcoin, and now things happen and people come back. Does the 886 hit on a... I've never really tried it on a 1 minute time frame, gotta say. I guess, I mean, Elliott waves and the rule of Elliott waves should be respected on all of the time frames, right? You can use Elliott waves on a 1 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, weekly, monthly, yearly, decade, doesn't really matter. So based on the fact that Elliott Wave International deems Elliott waves to be used on any time frame, the 886 should work on any time frame. Because the 886 is an Elliott wave probability changer, right? Bullish CVD. A bit of bullish CVD. How long did you study before you got confidence in trading? So confidence is the psychological word. So in my first year, I was slightly a losing trader. And in my second year, that's when I started to become break-even profitable. But that was also the year where I started working on psychology, but I wasn't yet. I was more focusing on technicals still. But I did start to become profitable. But I really started to be more... I really started to become more confident in like 2022 Q1 Q2-ish, I think, like half mid 2022, because I because of COVID and the pandemic, I had so much time to study technical analysis and Elliott waves. So the technical learning went very quick. But after I got the technicals, I struggled with the psychology. And that, of course, then also took time. So, yeah, so around like second half 2022 is where the confidence really started. And confidence is I don't think it's necessarily confidence. It's like you get the hang of your psychology, because of course confidence can be dangerous, right? If you're overconfident, for example, it also leads to problems, right? Too high leverage, for example, thinking you are always going to be right on this trade and then it moves the other way. Yeah. Okay, there you are. You're an accountant. Wow, that's like accountants, man. They work so hard. A friend or the wife of one of my great friends is an accountant for Tesla. Holy shit, right? Every quarter they have the quarterly thing. Cheers, Power Meat. What are your thoughts on the CME gap? Has potential for a wave 2. So if you continue to the upside with an impulse. So I know we have the gap here, but you can significantly move up still and then fill the gap. So you just have the fibs and then wave 2. So if we're looking for an impulse, of course we want continuation, right? But in that case, you have your 1 2 1 2. You look for a 3 4 5 4 5. Preferably make a lower high on the chart, and you can see that even if price would move to like 70k, your common target area for a 205,786 is in confluence with the gap. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to keep the gap in mind, but there's no reason for price to immediately fill the gap, if you know what I mean. It can always come back later, but it is something we keep in mind. Yeah. Want to master Elliott waves? How do I do it? With regards to first, step 1 is go to this website. So you go to it's in the description. So if you open the description, you scroll down to educational stuff, and then there's a website there, which is this one. So there's a bit.ly link, and this website is really good. So I would recommend to start here. The second one is the book Elliott Wave Principle, Frost and Prechter, also in the description. And start with those sources. Get the pen out, get the notebook out, and da-da-da-da-da. And if you want, of course, more feedback and all that stuff, then the gold membership would be the place to be. Does she give you any hot tips? My wife, you mean? She does give me tips, but not in trading or investing, because she's in real estate. Funny question. So no, she's in the real estate industry and I'm in the investing trading industry nowadays. I'm also a global keynote speaker, so I'm a speaker, and my background is the gaming esports industry, and I used to be a medical student to become a doctor, so that's all like the background stuff. Oh wait, the Tesla accountant. Oh, sorry, Udon Bale. I didn't get it. No, she doesn't give me any tips. No. No, she doesn't. She does talk about the company and the changes and things happening, but nothing tips related. No. Not all of your messages are showing, then it's likely because of this, Yannis. Go to Discord and check the YouTube banned words channel, because we have it to keep it spam free. So just check if one word that you write is in this list, and then you'll probably that's the reason why it doesn't appear. Adam, good morning. How are you doing from the other side of the world? Anyone track any historic impulse trends around Powell's speeches? I have not tracked any statistics on it, but thank you, Mark, by the way. So that's Mark just shared the link of this one. But no, I don't know. But generally, of course, I mean, it's a 3-star impact, US 6:30. So I will be live at 6:30 again in 3.5 hours. And we are now live for 1.5 hours. So I think it is a good moment to continue with the day. I'll be live again in 3 hours and 24 minutes. Okay. We're going to observe if anything happens with regards to the news. Now, you know what I'm looking for. You know the different scenarios and the probabilities, right? It's about this current range here. So let's see if the chart is going to give us any information in the upcoming hours. And then we will have the Powell speech, and let's see where price is. So for now, observing the range locally. Make sure to check out the analysis. I will go and put the timestamps in the analysis or in the VOD of this live stream when I close the live stream. So are you covering Nakamoto? Possible. On an altcoin Sunday or a stock. Usually, I mean, I call it altcoin Sunday, but you can also vote for stocks and other markets during the Sunday analysis. So, oh wait, T. Clepson. Oh, how did I forget about this? The question, I forgot what it was, but the question about how do I learn Elliott ways? I forgot about the playlist I have on YouTube. Besides the book and the website, check out this playlist as well, because it has everything you need to know. Thanks, T. Clepson, for highlighting that. I forgot about my own playlist. Nice one. So cool. Okay, everyone, I'll be back in a couple of hours. The news is at 6:30 p.m., so I'll go live at like 6:29 p.m. That's the goal, just before the news, and then we can observe it together. So I'll be back in a few hours. It's Central European time, right? So I'm talking about 6:30 Central European time, which is in 3 hours and 2 minutes. Yeah. Sterling Discord is in the description. The link is down below. Or Mark maybe shares it. There you go. Mark as a mod, like this guy, unbelievable, on point. Thanks everyone. I'm gonna catch you later.